Noni Madueke is one of the most unpopular Arsenal signings to date. From getting a Twitter hashtag trending called No to Madueke, to having a petition with over 4,000 signatures against his signing, and to also vandalising Arsenal murals to send a message to the Arsenal higher-ups that we, or Arsenal fans, do not want him. But in today's video, I encourage you to watch with an open mind, with a clean slate, as I discuss the positives to Noni Madueke and why many Arsenal fans have got him wrong despite the very high price we're set to sign him for, around 50 million. Let's start with the player profile of Noni Madueke. He currently plays for Chelsea, he's an English international, he's 23 years old, 6 feet tall and can play on the right or the left, and he's also left-footed. To understand why Arsenal have gone for Noni Madueke, we need to understand what Arsenal currently lack in their forward line. We lack a pure transition threat, somebody who's able to be the real difference maker when it comes to fast breaks and counter-attacks, something which Noni Madueke is very good at. We need somebody who's very progressive in terms of carrying the ball, with his long strides, with his carrying ability. Noni Madueke is a very good talent, and we generally just need somebody who's able to cover for Bukayo Saka, whose hamstrings last season practically fell off his legs. We need that added cover. Noni Madueke provides that, but he also provides that cover on the left, where Arsenal need a profile like him who can be the runner, transition, carrying type, but also somebody who's very good at generating shots. Arsenal need to create more shots and generate more shots, and Noni Madueke is very good at doing that. To back up what I said with the statistics, and we'll look firstly at Noni Madueke's FBref model. And as you can see, the progressive carries, he's absolutely incredible. The top 1% of wingers in Europe in terms of carrying the ball and progressing it, with his pure speed, his pure, the strides, everything in Noni Madueke's carries from the middle third of the pitch to the final third of the pitch is very impressive. And the successful take-ons as well, the top 24% against other wingers in Europe's top 5 leagues. And as you can see, the progressive passes as well, the top 22%. He's a guy who can really be a difference maker in getting the ball up the pitch. The speed of the attacks. Arsenal have been quite slow when we've been taking the ball into the middle third, into the final third. We need to be quicker. We need to speed the game up. And Noni Madueke helps to do that. And that's one of Arsenal's biggest issues, and one of the biggest issues, and why Arsenal dropped so many points last season to the likes of Everton, to the likes of Fulham, is because they weren't progressive enough in terms of carrying the ball, in terms of passing the ball forward fast enough. And Noni Madueke has the traits to be able to do that at Arsenal, and that's very important. And to further hone in on how much of a good player Madueke is, if you compare his model to the model of Nico Williams, someone who Arteta has chased for years and years, who can play on the left wing and the right wing, and has been pretty much the first choice for that role, has a very similar set of data in terms of progressive carries. Williams himself is in the top 7%. Successful take-ons, Williams is in the top 2%. So there's this. Also, the progressive passes were there in the top 12% for Nico Williams. So you can almost see the similarities in Madueke and Williams in terms of speeding up the attack, which Arsenal desperately need to do. It's the only way you can beat a mid block or a low block, is by playing quicker, by passing quicker. And these models of both these players, who can play on the left wing and the right wing, is so good. And Noni Madueke is the sort of player, he's also the same price as Nico Williams would have been with a 50 million release clause. You can see why he was so sought after. Arsenal are also a team which have a lot of touches in the final third, and a lot of those touches never actually lead to enough shots on goal. And I've said this many times before, Noni Madueke is one of the best shot generators in terms of wingers across Europe. His capacity to generate a shot on his left foot, on his right foot, to create the separation to get the shot up is very impressive. And second to none really for someone so young and with so much growth to do. It's very good. But last season, Noni Madueke had 8.8 touches in the opposition box per 90. We already give Saka a lot of touches in the final third and in the opposition box because he's a difference maker. Noni Madueke is very comfortable in those same situations that Bukayo Saka would find himself in, which again just hammers home that point of Noni Madueke being an adequate rotational option for Saka. But also, if you put Noni on the left, he would still have that same comfortability and impact in terms of in the final third. Many times we see Martin Martinelli on the left, and he wouldn't have the ability to maximize the output from being in those inside the box spaces, whether that's creating separation, whether that's sort of just putting a ball into the box with quality. Noni Madueke is a much better player than Martinelli in that regard, in both boxes. How many times has Mikel Arteta himself said, we have not been clinical in both boxes? And this is a quote from the game against West Ham, where Mikel Arteta was like 50-60 touches in the box, and we didn't get enough goals. Someone like Madueke, who's used to having touches in the box and can generate shots and they can spill to the strikers, is going to be integral to Arsenal Football Club next season. Before we get into the in-depth photo analysis, here are some extra very, very good stats about Noni Madueke last season. He ranked first against other Premier League wingers in terms of shots per touch. He also ranked second in runs leading to shots. He ranked second as well in number of sprints, and third in total sprint distance. So all of that stats go to show somebody who's very, very good in terms of carrying the ball, somebody who's very, very good at generating shots. Two of the things that I mentioned, which Arsenal need to improve going into next season if they are to beat those defensive blocks, those mid blocks and those low blocks. So to round up this video, we're going to end looking at Noni Madueke's strengths against those low blocks, against us as well. There's a little bit of a thing I want to show you, but we're going to start here. This is against Nottingham Forest at home. We know how good they are defensively, a team that we actually dropped 2 points against last season due to not generating enough chances. And the arrow shows where Noni Madueke currently is. So as you can see, an isolated position right on the touchline. But what if I was to tell you he actually generated a shot from that position? And that's what I mean when I say Noni Madueke is a shot generator. He's able to create shots from many isolated situations. And this is crucial against low blocks, against mid blocks, against defensive teams, because he really can shift them about and create a shot. And yes, the shot didn't end up going in or didn't go on target, but on another day, and most scenarios where I've looked at Madueke, he'll take that shot and it will bounce in the box for a Jackson to take a shot after, an Enzo or somebody box crashing will have the opportunity to take another shot, and that can lead to a goal. So this is the chaos that I love about Madueke in terms of his shot generation from pretty much any angle. Here is another example, but more so Madueke and his capacity to go on the inside and the outside. The previous image was him going on the inside. This is now him going on the outside. He's equally adept on both feet, a bit like Saka, where you don't know which side he's going to go. He's going to go left, he's going to go on his right, and he has the power, the running sort of confidence as well to go on to that right foot. And obviously from this situation, he was able to create for Palmer where you see the blue arrow is currently. So he's gone on the outside of someone so good like Murillo and is able to find himself in a situation where he can give a tap in to his teammate Cole Palmer. So here it is, 1v1, set his defender up. Can he go on the outside or the inside? He chooses the outside, and it's a beautiful run and a beautiful pass in the end. Obviously, I'd love to show you this, but copyright and all of that. But this is what I love about Madueke. It genuinely is really good. And this sort of idea about Madueke, a chaos creator, a 44.1% successful dribbling take-on rate, that's very, very good and a valuable quality to be so high. Especially against these mid and defensive blocks, you need that quality. Here again, I want to talk about his ability on the in-swinging cross. He's not a sort of the Saka type in terms of every single time he's world class at it, but he's sort of mastered the technique to put the right weight on these crosses. And against mid blocks, against low blocks, is very important. Even against us, one of the best defensive teams, he's generated this opportunity. We'll all remember this one, the one he swung into Fofana and he headed it over. That's a very, 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 very good piece of play from him. Here's another one. This one ended up in an assist against Brentford onto the head of Marco Correa. You can go check out on YouTube. A beautiful cross, beautifully weighted. That's another time he's shown it. Here's another chance. This one is against Ipswich. I made a compilation on Twitter about it. He swung the ball in right onto the head of Levi Colwill, who headed it straight at the keeper. So that's 3 chances. And there's so many more examples of it that Noni Madueke has generated from the in-swinging cross. He genuinely has the quality to break down these low blocks. And a lot of Arsenal fans aren't getting this signing correct. Yes, it's a lot of money, but the quality is there. He's only 23. He can be the archetype that Mikel Arteta has been looking for a very long time in the sense of a Rafinha, Sane profile, but obviously a sort of poor man's version of that, which is still a compliment. Those guys are phenomenal players. But Arsenal fans, welcome Madueke. He's coming to join us. Let's give him the support he needs because he's one of us. He's a gunner now.